Today's topic is Gauss theorem in electrostatics. Gauss theorem is related with charge which is enclosed by a surface and absolute permittivity of the medium surrounding it. In other words, we can say that it depends upon, this is applicable only when there is a charge and an enclosing surface. This theorem is used to determine electric field intensity at a point in different cases. For example, at a point due to a line charge. Line charge is also called infinitely long state conductor. Infinitely long state conductor does not mean that conductor is of length which is equal to infinity. It means that diameter of the conductor is negligible as compared to its length. In second case, we can find electric field intensity at a point due to a charged spherical shell. And third, at a point due to a thin charge sheet. There are many other cases also, but here we will discuss its three main applications. Let us start with the statement of Gauss theorem. Gauss theorem states that the total electric flux through a surface enclosing a charge in air or free space is equal to 1 by epsilon naught times the charge enclosed, where epsilon naught is absolute permittivity in air or free space. Just now I told you the terms or the factors on which Gauss law depends is charge, enclosed charge, permittivity of free space or air, nature of surrounding medium, and according to Gauss theorem, electric flux phi equals to Q by epsilon naught. Using Gauss theorem, we can find the electric field intensity in three cases that I have told just now. Now look at the first application, that is to find electric field intensity at a point due to an infinitely long state conductor, line charge. This I have taken an infinitely long state conductor of length L. And we know that electric field lines move away from positive charge. So I have shown the direction of electric field away from the conductor. This is the direction of electric field. There is a point in the electric field, that is P, where we need to find electric field intensity. To use Gauss theorem, charge must be enclosed. So to enclose a charge, I have taken an imaginary surface, imaginary cylindrical surface. And this imaginary surface which is taken for applying Gauss theorem is called Gaussian surface. From the figure, you can clearly understand that for plane faces, this face and this face, area vector is perpendicular to electric field. So according to the formula, phi equals to E S cos theta, angle is 90 degree, so flux will be 0. So there is no flux along the plane faces of the cylindrical Gaussian surface. Electric flux is passing through the curved surface only. So here I have written is perpendicular to the area vector of the plane faces. So flux through the plane faces phi equals to 0. Therefore, flux through the Gaussian cylindrical surface will be equal to flux through the curved cylindrical part of the surface only. Phi equals to E S cos theta. So theta is 0 degree here. You can see here the angle between E and DS on the curved surface is 0 degree. So this is E into 2 pi RL. 2 pi RL is the curved surface area of the cylinder. The surface includes charge equal to lambda L. Therefore, Gauss law gives E into 2 pi RL equals to lambda L by epsilon naught. And from this, E equals to lambda by 2 pi R epsilon naught. In this way, we can derive the formula of electric field intensity at a point due to a line charge. Here, from the expression, this is clear that electric field intensity at a point due to a line charge is inversely proportional to distance of the point. So this type of graph can be drawn for showing variation of E with R. In this expression, I have used Q equals to lambda L. What is lambda? Lambda is linear charge density. And linear charge density equals to charge per unit length, Q by L. So lambda equals to Q by L. Therefore, Q equals to lambda L. Now let us start the second application, that is electric field at a point due to a thin charge sheet. Here I have taken a thin charge sheet of charge density sigma, and sigma equals to Q by S. So Q equals to sigma S. So from Gauss law, electric flux equals to sigma S by epsilon naught, now equals to Q by epsilon naught. Due to this charge sheet, we have to find electric field intensity at this point P. This I have taken a cylindrical Gaussian surface of length R plus R, 2R, piercing through the sheet. Now it has two plane faces and one curved surface. On the curved surface, this is the direction of area vector. This is the direction of electric field away from the sheet. So angle between E and DS for the curved surface is 90 degree. So in this case, there is no electric flux through the curved surface. For the plane faces, E and DS are parallel. So angle is 0 degree and there will be a flux through them. So from the definition of flux, electric flux phi E equals to integration of E dot ds for all the three faces I have taken, for two plane faces and one curved surface. For curved surface, electric flux is 0 as theta is 90 degree, and for plane faces, theta is 0 degree. So it gives E into S plus ES equals to 2Es. This is the total electric flux passing through the Gaussian surface. And from the Gauss theorem, this is total electric flux. So when we equate this with this, we get 2Es equals to sigma S by epsilon naught. S has cancelled. So E equals to sigma by 2 epsilon naught. If n cap is taken as the unit vector along electric field, then in vector form, vector E equals to sigma by 2 epsilon naught into n cap. In the formula, you can see that there is no distance, or we can say that E is independent of distance of the point. So electric field at any point in this side or in the opposite side at any distance due to a thin charge sheet is same. And this is the formula of, and this is the graph between electric field and distance of the point in this case. Now, look at the third application. Electric field at a point due to a charged spherical cell. I have taken a charged spherical cell on which total charge is Q and its surface charge density is sigma, which is equals to Q by 4 pi into capital R square. Here capital R is the radius of the charged sphere. Due to this charged sphere, spherical cell, we have to find electric field at a point. And this point we can take at 3 locations or 3 positions outside the surface, on the surface, and inside the sphere. So firstly, we will find the electric field intensity at outside point. We draw an imaginary spherical surface, Gaussian surface, passing through P. And total charge enclosed by this Gaussian surface is same as the charge on the spherical cell. So due to a spherical symmetry, the electric field at each point of the Gaussian surface has same magnitude. E and delta S are parallel at every point. At this point, when we will take area vector, this will be in this direction along radius, and this is positively charged. So electric field will be away from this. So E and ds will be in the same direction at each and every point. So net flux is equal to charge enclosed by epsilon naught, or E into 4 pi r square, E into 4 pi r square from the formula phi equals to Es equals to sigma by epsilon naught 4 pi r square. And it gives E equals to Q by 4 pi epsilon naught r square. In vector form, you can apply unit vector r cap along E. Electric field directed outward if Q is greater than 0 and inward if Q is less than 0. So this is the formula of electric field at outside point, and according to the formula, electric field intensity is inversely proportional to the square of the distance of the point. Now case 2 is on the surface. On the surface, a small r equals to capital R. Therefore, E equals to Q by 4 pi r square epsilon naught. Here you can express this expression in terms of sigma if you want. And case 3 is at inside point where r is less than r. no charge is present inside, so Q equals to 0, therefore E equals to 0. And this is graph between E and R in in this case, up to the surface there is no electric field, and after the surface E is inversely proportional to R squared.